Am I looking at your screen or what am I looking at?
I forgot. I'm sorry. There we go. I straight up forgot. Sorry. All right, you see this? Does it look okay? Frame rate?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so you already know they have Orion, you know they have Zarya. Be really careful about booping this team forward, because that's kind of what they want to be. You want to really boop this team sideways or back. Alright, so that's okay, right? You boop these guys sideways, you boop the Rhine forward. This is a little sketch, because, like, again, the Rhine wants to be forward. But generally speaking, right, you still messed with this formation behind him, right? Although you actually boop these people into hotel, so this is technically forward to some degree. So, I don't know, this boop's kind of sketch. But we'll see how this works out. That was also very sketch. There's not really a need to make a play that deep. Alright, worked out. I guess you never use shields, so it was fine. Don't chase him, don't chase him, don't chase him! He's Thor! Alright, yeah, if he has, what's it called? If you don't know whether or not he has overload, don't take that fight. He's gonna win it every time. Alright, so the problem here is that you're getting lazy. Very lazy, okay? You know why I'm saying that?
Like I'm not setting up again?
You haven't set up. You sat here and you shot, took a lot of unnecessary damage, and then sat here getting healed, right? So first fight, you were here, and it made a lot of things good, even though like it wasn't like you didn't necessarily played it perfectly, right? Like you got 3 grapples in, or like all 3 grapples like did relevant damage, right? Relevant boops, even if some of them weren't the best, right? But now you're here, and you're not set up anywhere, right? And now you're setting up, right? But do you see the difference of this and last time when you're already set up here?
Yeah, it's late.
It's late, right? They're walking in, right? Plus they see it now, so it's a lot less good. Although I have no idea why the monkey's jumping at you. All right, we take those. That was really good. Now just stay in there. Yep. Okay. Now once you get a boop that strong, I guess I shouldn't have health bars on because you can't actually see them when you're in game. So you set up behind them. You got the big shields, right? You got a really big boop here. You should just like end this because you're not going to get a second fireball damage, right? So you see this guy's health, so you should just like immediately get out of ball form and just try and finish him, right?
I try to at least get like somewhat of cover because I don't want to just die. I lead ball for him.
I mean, sure, but you had enough momentum that you leave ball form, like you'll be like here, right? And then like if you start taking damage and you're not making progress on killing this guy, right? Because like you can tell if you're like as ball, you just need to be really in the habit of just like tucking back into ball form, right? So if, like as soon as you realize that like you're not making progress in this guy as you're shooting at him, right? Just tuck back in and then roll around, go the midi, and you're set, right? I mean, you don't need to be full HP, and your supports are right here anyways, right? So like, yeah, it's good to like take cover, right? And that's a good habit, right? But in this case, you should try and finish the kill first, right? And if you're not making progress, because you will see if his health bar is going down, right? Then just leave, right? If you're not. This is really forced. You don't have shields. Yeah, you die for that, right? So first of all, pile driver, very dangerous. Second, you have no shields. It's really hard to make pile driver plays without like your team going in, right? Because if you look, where's your team, right? Nobody's shooting. Only one who's shooting right here is like the Sig, right? So you went in without a team essentially. You had no shields. You had no cooldowns, right? Or sorry, you had no shields rather, which is the only cooldown you're missing, but it's a relevant one, right? The most relevant one. You pile drived into them, you just die, right? Alright, what's the issue with these mines?
Well, they're gonna get trans, so kind of suck.
Yeah, sure, but ignoring the trans, what's the issue with these mines?
They're not on point.
I mean, they don't have to be on point. If the area you're blocking is like important, right?
I'm only really cutting off 2 supports, right?
Yeah. So if you think about it, what did you mines, right? There was no one already here when you mines, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you pile drive nothing. And then the people you cut off are the range supports, so you don't need to walk through the minefield, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing this without pressure from the backline, right? You don't have a tracer like going in on the back as you're making this play, right? So you're not actually cutting off the supports from help. You're just cutting off their ability to walk through a space, right? Also, your mine's way too high.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, but I don't really want to talk about that because that's micro though, right? I'm talking about like your decision to minefield here. Does it make sense? Because like your decision to minefield here, there was no ability to actually chase down like force pressure on these guys, right? Your minefield is not on top of these guys, and you don't actually cut their sightlines because their sightlines ignore the mines, right? So there's a lot of issues with this mines. And also, again, if you're not making progress, which is absolutely the case here, there's a trans, right? You literally can't kill these people, right? Just don't shoot. Just tuck back in the ball and go back to whatever you're doing, right? It needs to be a really important. It's a really important habit. Right, but you're just like wasting ammo here, right? And time. That's probably the more important one. It's wasting time where you can get set up for another play. Probably could have pile drived him, pretty sure.
Yeah, but I remember what happened last time. I was like, nope.
Well, I mean, you can pile drive him, and if he overloads, you can just fall off the side, right? That's the difference. Last time you pile drive, you tried to like go on him, and first of all, you didn't pile drive. And second, right, like you were completely alone, and in order to escape, you had to go back this way, right, all the way back this way, right? Whereas here, right, it's on the edge. If you pile drive him, right, you just drop and like you're fine, right? Or if he overloads, rather. That's fine. If your intention is to help the tracer, I assume that's what you're trying to do originally. Right. Again, yeah. So don't get caught up spamming, right? Because you're almost guaranteed to lose that trade, right? So yeah. Like again, like if you're not making a lot of progress when you're shooting, just don't shoot, right? Just tuck back in the ball, keep going. Save your time, right? Time is really important because like you're kind of like Tracer, right? You have the ability to be in a lot of places, right? You just need to get there in advance, right? So yeah, just like anything you do to save time is probably pretty good. Because for example, imagine if you got here while like they were still fighting Tracer, right? Because in this case, someone might have seen you cross, right? But imagine if you did this while they were like all looking this way, right? Like maybe that prevents you from getting seen, right? So that's obviously like very hindsight still talking, right? But like time matters, right? So that's the point I'm trying to get across, even though this is kind of a reach. Minefield right now would be incredible, by the way. Don't pile drive this guy, no! Okay, why is this pile drive rough?
Oh, he's got bubble and he got shielded anyway.
Yeah, but ignoring the micro aspect of it, why was the decision to pile drive rough?
I mean, I'm just kind of in the middle there, like in front of everybody so they can all see me.
Yeah, exactly, right? So you're pile driving the front line. You even talked about this in your own VOD review with that guy, right? Yeah. You literally talked about this in your own VOD review. It's like there's no need to pile drive this guy. You got the big boop, right? Just maintain your grapple, right? And then go back, right? Maybe get a boop this way, and then like pile drive the back line, right? And you're attracting way more people. This Zarya is definitely going to die when her bubble expires, right? And then you're also more likely to live because you get a bigger shield, right?
Yeah.
Monk us. Sorry, what?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that was bad.
Run, run. Okay, you're fine. You're fine. Not even close. Oh, he sees you. He sees you. No. I mean that's wall set, but yeah, that's funny. Did you have Discord? I don't think you had Discord, right?
Well, it expired, but he knew I was there because I ran over Discord.
Yeah, you probably had to just try and fish for a grapple and just get you across fast and grab the mega, but I don't think you're living there either way, so it doesn't matter. You'd made too many. The bigger thing was the mistakes you made earlier.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
Yeah, he does that a lot, Alex, if you're still watching. Alright, got scouted. Alright, that pile driver was also very sketchy. I'm sure you know why.
Yeah, because they could all see me.
Yeah, and you almost got slept there. You get slept with the Discord like 5 ward, right? You're just dead, right? That was actually a lot better though, in terms of just like timing, because like you boop these guys in, right? And you go and you boop this guy across. If you look, your backline, your whole backline is involved, right? And they're shooting the front line, and you're also trying to like, I guess the tracer, you're not really diving anyone, so it's fine. But like, the fact that you went through them, as long as like you don't get like stunned, you're chilling, right? So I don't really mind this play so much, right? You just need to grab health now. Alright, grabbing health. Fine. Alright, now the problem is like, maybe it wasn't so good in retrospect because it made you very late to the fight, right? Because your team didn't like get enough follow off of that to kill someone, so now you're kind of in a rough spot. Minefield. That was probably too high again.
Well, it worked.
Yeah. This is also really important. Don't overrate having full health on ball, right? It's kind of like monkey, right? If you have bubble, it kind of doesn't matter how much health you have if like the enemy team also doesn't have any resources, right? So within reason, right? So like if you're like 350 health, right, and you know that this guy's low, right, you can just like run this way as if you're grabbing mega, and then just grapple and go back, right? And then you don't, and then again, you don't have to let go of your grapple, right? So if you grapple high, right, as we were talking about in your VOD review, you hit this guy forward, right? And if he doesn't immediately die or get really, really low to the point that you want to finish him, right? Then you just stop, grapple back, and grab mega, right? But like a lot of balls get in this habit of like singularly like chasing down health packs, and you don't have to, right? That's good though. And again, right, like don't let go of your grapple. Hit this guy. You know how much health he has. You saw it, right? And then like, then come back, right? And that way you're back. You can start setting up with another how to explain it? Like a grapple isn't just like a boop, right? So this is something I learned from watching like Ball on Twitch, right? Is that like he does this a lot where he just uses one grapple and he does a lot of things with one grapple, and then he goes on to like once he decides he can no longer use the grapple, right? So like try and like get as much mileage out of one grapple as you can, even though it's very easy to just like grapple, start a fireball, hit this guy, and then hit him, and then shoot him, right? But like if you can just like grapple and hit him and he dies, right? Like keep your grapple, right? Let's make a lot of plays. Yeah, so again, this is another situation where you can still maintain one grapple, right? Instead of going for this pile driver, that's not going to hit anyone or like do minimal damages in the Kriya's orb, right? You can stall this cart almost indefinitely just by going like swing, like instead of grappling this, you should probably grapple the cart, right? Which makes it a lot better because you can grapple in and then like walk out and then like get. There's a lot of ways to get like fireball off the cart, and also like because you have the grapple going, you can get really fast and you can dodge people really easily. And if they try to push the cart on you, you can boop them back and then sit behind the cart again, right? So there's a lot of stalling you can do on the cart. And then second, right, if you are going to grapple up here, right, and you boop this guy, right, just go back, right? Just swing around a bunch, and then when you decide you're running out of shields or your shield's about to expire, you just like swing over here, right, and then you're back with your team, right? And you bought a lot of time, you stall the cart, right? You don't have to make this play right now. Does it make sense? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So like pile drive it's strong, right? But it's not in every grapple kind of thing. Like you don't want to use it on cooldown, right? It's for very specific moments. Oh no! Okay, yeah, you're dead. Yeah, so you see the reason why you died, right, is because you didn't have grapple on cooldown, right? You used it to pile drive, right? And then you have no escape, right? What are you going to do after that when your shields run out, right? So like use your grapple to the maximum extent, right? And then if you don't have to use if you end up not using pile drive, that's totally okay, right? Pile drive isn't that important. It's important for like setups, it's important for like engages, but it's not important for your actual like in fight like movement, right? Because it's actively bad for movement, right? It locks you into an animation. It stops all your momentum, so you have to restart your momentum and start rolling again, right? Generally speaking, it's the end of a grapple when you get enough height for it, right? Which is why it's so important. Like if you want to pile drive, you pile drive off the cart so you maintain grapple, right? Or it's that way you keep your grapple cooldown, right? Or from elevated positions that don't require grapple, because if you pile drive and it's not enough to just win the fight by itself, and you don't have shields, but even if you have shields, right? You can just die, right? So you need to have grapple at the end. Which is why engage pile drives are okay, because your team can follow up on that, right? Assuming you've already won the flanks, you've done all that stuff, right? But yeah. Again, this damage, totally meaningless. You should be setting something else up, right? There's also a McCree above that you could have gone on. This Zarya, like, again, like you're pile driving. You don't have to pile drive. What does pile driving this guy do? It just makes you burn your shields or take a lot of damage.
Oh, the frame rates. I can't see what's going on.
Oh, is it tanking?
Yep.
It looks like a stream quality is also tanking. One sec. We'll wait it out, I guess. Better?
Eh.
I think it should be good now.
That's a little better.
We just restart the Discord stream. Actually, let me check Steam to make sure it's not downloading something. Okay.
Okay.
Seem okay?
Seems okay for now.
Okay. Yeah, right. Pile driving here means that you're entirely reliant on your shields to survive, and even if you use your shields to survive, that's all of your cooldowns. That may or may not get a kill here, right? So yeah. This is 13 seconds, right, essentially, where you can't set up another play to dive, right? Okay, so we just look at the map. What happened to your guys' map control?
Losing it.
It's
running
gone.
around.
Right, you guys are stuck in a corner. Not stuck, but like you guys are like have given up all your angles and you have no pressure on this side of the map, right? So like, again, this is why like don't get too caught up in like chasing kills if it's going to cost you a lot, right? Because setting up is really, really important. And your setup so far has been like, meh. This is really forced, right? What is your team doing?
Nothing.
Nothing, right? So this is a bad play. All it did is burn all of your cooldowns, right? You got no cooldowns across the board. Right, imagine right now if you had pile driver and shields, right? Just imagine this. Imagine them trying to push this into a ball with pile driver and mines. This would be over. This would be so over. That's too high up, I think. Let me confirm that. Yeah, not that bad. That's a little too high. Now we're burning so many ults. Nice. Like, look how... They're so dumb. I don't know why they push this. Anyways. Yeah.
60 seconds remaining.
Alright, get set up somewhere. Tracer's scouting you, but it should be fine. This is a greedy setup. Not that bad. You can probably get scout. Yeah. Oh, Tracer's going high ground. Okay, you're fine. Then McCree. Alright. Be careful coming from over here to go for your play. Why is this a little risky? Or not risky, but less value, potentially.
Well, my team's really far back. So
Yeah,
I'm
so
kinda,
you're
kind of doing this.
Yeah, you're doing this solo, right? Because if you look, your Ashe is like going to get an angle now, but your Brig Zen is all the way back here, right? Do you see this? And
Yep.
your Sigma is holding the corner, but he's getting pushed back, right? So you kind of want to wait until they're like, either like, I'd prefer if you came from this side, because this is much more of a reasonable angle if the enemy team's pushing the cart right here, right? You get this boot, knock people sideways, you jump in the cart, you get a slam, right? And then you run out with your shields, right? That'd be a much more reasonable way than what you're doing right now. Because right now, like, I mean, the McCree's going for a play, kind of. The Ashe is going for a play, kind of, right? But it's preemptively shielded, right? And then your Sigma is sucking, right? He's not even like shooting, and you know what else is, right? So this play is kind of rough. This is a very solo play, and this is why you die for it. It's a solo play, right? You win in 1v6. Don't slam this, no. Okay, why shouldn't you not slam this?
He still has trans up.
He still has strands up, right? Just wait until just take like you don't know exactly what his strands was, right? Like it turns out that he ended up ending it now, but just wait for a second, right? If you want to stall there, like it's definitely possible. You can stall for quite a while, just like getting in the cart, and just like grappling the cart and doing a bunch of fancy stuff. And as long as you end the grapple, like running away from the cart, you can probably escape and grab a mega. This is fine too. I'd like to see you getting set up, right? Ah! So what is this not?
Too early. Too early.
It's too early, and what else is it? What direction are you coming from?
The front.
The front, right? What does a good setup entail?
You gotta go from where they can't see you, so I probably want to go around the back right boiler.
Yeah, so you have a lot of time, both like that I mean you sat here for like a second or two, right? You have a lot of time to just go over here, right? right? It's super easy to just go this way, right? I mean, there's a tracer there, so you end up having to like figure something out, right? That'd be rough, right? This tracer's doing a good job controlling the flank, but at the same time, right? Like, this is not good. Okay. I was about to say like, oh, you got back on the hugger. That was really cool, but then you dropped, and now you have no grapple and you have no shields. Ah, pain. From the front again. Yeah, this is why I die. All right, I'm probably gonna end it here. I've got to get 2 more VODs before 3:30. But yeah. Biggest problems for you, generally speaking, are like engagement timing. You're going too early a lot of the time. Just like or just like fighting in places where your team can't fight, right? So this is something that like is generally always like Ball has the freedom to be anywhere, right? But just because he has the freedom anywhere doesn't mean he can fight anywhere. Does that make sense? It's kind of like if you're going to make a play that you wouldn't make on Monkey, right? In terms of like when you're deciding to fight, right? Then it probably isn't a good play for Ball. Because like if you're a Monkey and you try and jump here when your Sig's here, right? Like this is a bad play, right? Just objectively. If you try to jump from here to here, right? It's just objectively bad. And that's kind of how you need to think in terms of when you actually choose to fight as Ball, right? Because and fundamentally they're still fairly similar, right? And just, even though all the tech is different, even though how the shield interacts and it changes like how the character plays, right? It's still fundamentally the same idea of when you engage, right? So this is not how you engage, right? Also, your mines are generally a little bit too high. That's just a micro thing you should probably work on. Where you choose the mines is really important. This mines is really good, but again, you blew all your cooldowns in an earlier fight that you didn't have to take, right? And then you didn't have a pile drive to really secure that fight. I mean, you eventually got pile drive anyways because mines last forever, right? But like, something to consider. What else? You're really in the habit of like not wasting time shooting, right? So if like you get out of ball form, you start shooting at Zarya, right? She's getting healed, right? And no one else on the team is shooting her, right? Just like don't even try to take the fight. Just get back in ball and leave, right? Just get really in the habit of like tucking back into ball and just leaving, right? There was also a time when like I think you spent some time shooting here, right? Like across, right? Like don't even bother with that. It's a waste of time, right? A lot of this kind of stuff as well is a waste of time. Just set up for your next fight as fast as you can, right? Because setup is so important. Yeah, I think those are the big things for you. Also get used to one grapple stuff, right? Just like the more stuff you can do in one grapple, the better. And if like and less pile driving. Pile drive is bad. Any questions?
That's good for now.
All right.
I'm gonna go grind some more tonight.
Awesome. I will see you later then.
Bye bye.